in Bereshit, in the beginning of the Torah, it says, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Hashem created the world, the heavens and the earth, in the beginning. Now you can read this way. You can say, Bereshit bara Elokim. In the beginning, God created. Et. Et is Aleph through Taf. Aleph through Taf. Which means that's what He made in the beginning. In the beginning, He made Et. Aleph through Taf is the alphabet. The Aleph Bet. See? And that's what we say. We say that the Torah preceded creation. The Torah is the Aleph Bet, and it preceded creation. Hashem looked into the Torah, and then He created the world using the Torah almost like a blueprint, like they say. So there's a verse for it. There's a pasuk for that. A lot of people don't plug that in, but it's very interesting. Now, what can we learn from this? Very interesting idea we can learn. Aleph through Tav is a big matter. You know, there's two people that learn the alphabet. You know who learns the alphabet? Children. Two groups of people.
Children.
Right, children.
Kabbalists, no?
And the Mikubalim, the Kabbalists. So learning the Aleph Bet is not just for nursery. It's really for the big hitters also. So I want to show you a little bit what we do with the Aleph Bet and what it can teach us. Bezrat Hashem. Okay, let's take... Well, I'm only going to do Aleph and Bet because it tells a story. That's really what I'm focusing on in this class. But the whole Aleph Bet is its own little story, okay? But we'll see from the Aleph and Bet. What does Aleph stand for? Now, there's a midrash that says that the Aleph stands for Hashem. Hashem is one. Aleph is one. And God is one. And Aleph also stands for the word Echad, one. It starts with an Aleph. See, so Echad, one, is Hashem. And if you look at it this way also, the Aleph has, it's really a letter that's made of two letters. There's a Vav and two Yuds. That's how it's built. You know, that's how you write it. There's sub-letters sometimes that make letters, you see? So it's really a Vav and two Yuds. What does that add up to in Gematria? The Vav is 6. And 10 is 20. 26. There you go. The name of Hashem is 26, which is the Yud K Vav K, is the Aleph itself. So again, Aleph stands for Hashem. Now there's another midrash that says Aleph stands for Arur, cursed. Now this, how did these two go together? We have to explain. Obviously you can't put Hashem in the same category as cursed. So really when you're studying the Aleph Bet, you're studying the world, you're not studying Hashem. So it's really, as Hashem is pertaining to the world, it's cursed. So let's explain. Hashem is alone. He's the only thing around. He's the Aleph. Echad, one. When he stays in that state, it's cursed for the creation. Let's say us, we're the Nivra. He's the Borei, the creator. We are the creation, okay, or the created entity. For Hashem to be Aleph only and not move on to make something is a cursed state for the rest of us. Not for him. He's the Aleph. He's doing well. It's us that would be cursed. So obviously he doesn't stay there. He actually does make a creation. But that's the logic of Aleph. If there was only Aleph, it would be no good for us because we wouldn't be here. That's simply what it means. Now Bet is already the second letter. So it means the second being that comes onto the face of the scene, which is us. Mankind, the whole creation is the Bet, is the second thing. He's the first thing, the first principle. And we're the second thing that was made. Really the first thing, but the second that's in reality, so to speak, because there's first is Hashem and then there's us. But as creation-wise, we're the first creation. Now the Bet, what does Bet mean itself? The word Bet. Bet means bayit, house. A bayit, a Bet. Bet HaMikdash, Bet HaKnesset. Bet means a house. You see, like a bayit. Bayit is the Bet. So really all of Israel was really that Bet. It's really all the people and all creation, but just focusing on Israel because they're the primary being. They are called Bet Yisrael. You see, because we're really the house of Israel. We are the Bet. Now what do we need to be a Bet for? What do we need to be a house for? Because look how interesting the story plays. Hashem is the Aleph. Hashem built a house. Hashem wants to move into that house. That's all what's going on. And Gimel Dalet is continuing another story. You do chesed, gemilut chasadim, to the dal, to the poor man, and that's like how you do it. Okay, but that's we're going to not get into now. Just simply, the Aleph is Hashem. He created a bet, man, and He wants to dwell in that man as a house. You see, it's not just Hashem made us and we're going to look at Him and be happy when we have a relationship with Him, which is all true. But there's more of a different mechanics going on. We're in actual housing for Him. Which means we're built, see, we have to kind of ponder this. We're built not to be alone, so to speak. Meaning it's not that He made us and we are who we are and we're like a single entity. And okay, fine, the rest of the world is here and I'm me and they're them and everything's itself. That's not how the world is meant to be. When Hashem created us, He actually made us to be something that will not be alone. Something has to move into us. Meaning we have to have something within us at all times. We're not meant to be an entity that's alone. I don't mean alone as far as like having someone with you, but I mean in our guts alone. There's supposed to be someone who's actually in our essence. And that is Hashem. He built us to be an actual, and they say in Kabbalah, here's the great word that we always hear, and we don't always understand it. We're meant to be a vessel. A vessel, because something's going to go into that vessel. You see, when water goes into a vessel, a container, it means that container and the water is now together. They live together. And the vessel was meant to be a container or a holder for that liquid. Same thing, Hashem is the entity that's going to be dwelling within us, literally within us, in whatever time, I mean, that's the beginning. We didn't get into what happened and now He has to make this world, but we'll get into everything slowly. But that's the idea of the bet. The Aleph and his relationship to his bet, which is his creation, which is us. Now this is something we know because we hear this all the time. Where do we hear this kind of material? From the Beit HaMikdash. We always hear the famous pasuk that we even talked about. Ve'asu li mikdash v'shachanti betocham. I will make for you a sanctuary and I will dwell within you. So the rabbis all ask, why does it say betocham, I will dwell in them? It should say I will dwell in it, because it's talking about the temple, the building. Because it's really not the building that Hashem is dwelling in. It's through the building He gets into the people. It is through the building. So it's not that He's not going in the building, but that's not the end goal. The goal is to go through the building and then get into us. You see, that's just the emtsa'i, the middle step, so to speak, to get to us. So v'shachanti b'tocham, I will dwell in them, which is the people. So again, we are the Beit HaMikdash. That's how we know. The bet of the Aleph bet tells us about the Beit HaMikdash. Look how you don't have to go far to know all the secrets about the Beit HaMikdash, and that it's us, and that He's dwelling in us. It's right in the Aleph bet. You don't have to go all to the laws of the Mishkan and all the secrets of the Mishkan. It's right here in the Aleph bet. Okay, so now, Hashem, here's the thing. Hashem wants to jump into us and somehow fill us with what's going to happen to us when He jumps into us? Simcha, happiness. That's what happiness is. Hashem is filled with happiness. His own existence, whatever that is the happiest state possible. Existence, in many ways, is synonymous with simcha, happiness. When you exist, you're happy. Because you have everything, your existence, and you're not lacking anything. That alone is happy. Okay, without, again, getting into that too much. Now, Hashem wants to make us happy. So what does He do? He allows us to partake in His own happiness. See, it's one thing if we get to look at His happiness. We're here and He's here and we just kind of have a relationship, maybe hug Him a little, but that's it. So we get to see His happiness. Maybe it rubs off, like when you see a movie star, lehavdil, or I should say a gadol hador. I don't know why I should go into the tumah. Right? So it kind of, you feel happy when you're next to that gadol, But imagine Hashem said, that's not enough just to see me. I want you to feel my happiness. I want you to feel what I'm feeling. So how are we going to pull that off? He's going to come into us. And we're going to feel Him, literally. I mean, not all of Him, because He's still God. He's whatever He is without us. But that aspect that we're able to feel, we're going to feel in a full way, because we're going to be attached to him. So we're not just going to kind of get some aftermath of his happiness. We're going to literally cling on to that happiness itself, because we're going to cling on to him. So that's why he moves into us. When he moves into us, we're as close as we can be. You can't be closer than when he moves in to a house like a tenant, like a dweller. Okay, that's what Hashem is to us. That's why he made it that way. Now there is a problem. There's a problem with the way creation was designed. Of course, not that Hashem has a problem, but it means he made the problem on purpose. The problem is, and we're not going to again get into why this is the problem, if Hashem does not move in, the place does not stay empty. My guts, or our guts, doesn't stay empty if Hashem doesn't jump in. Let's look at an apartment. If an apartment doesn't have a tenant in it real fast, there is going to be a tenant. The mice. There's always a tenant. It's either the person, or it's going to be the mice and the rats. Chas v'shalom. There's never an empty space. Welcome. Same thing with us. Now, we're not talking about the world, that people like to generalize and say the world. We're talking about ourself, our essence, because we are the creation. Again, we are the bite. So whatever we're going to say happens around, that around is us. It's not over there. It's here. So what happens is, if Hashem doesn't move into us and create us an exuberant happiness, the evil side, called the Sitra Achara, the other side, which is the side of Tum'ah and evil, that moves in. You see? And we have to push him out. When we push him out, God can then come in. And that's really the job what's going on. Now, how do we do that? First, we have to realize what he is. Okay? This being, and we might go over, this being is all negative. You see, this evil entity, evil is negative. And he feels all negative things. Now, for instance, it says in the Tanya, which I wanted to bring out, that the four elements of the physical world, which is earth, water, air, and energy, fire, okay? Along with those are, negative, let's say negative traits. Okay, we can turn them to positive also, but let's just say how the Rav Zalman explains. When he says that the earth is like earthy and down, it's almost like laziness and that kind of a characteristic, okay? Because it's like on the ground, it's like hard to get up type of thing. When you say water has to do with already ta'ava, because water is like quenches the thirst, but thirst of any desire, so to speak. Then you have air. Air has to do with the words we say. So it's like air is when we speak. So lashon hara and leitzanut, just being frivolous and that type of a thing, is those traits. And then fire traits is anger and ga'ava, haughtiness, ego.